All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another podcast. Scott Slaman, Johnny Starr. This is episode number 9. We're at a new studio, very exciting. Central House here. Justin's running it. Christian's helping out. If you want to hit up Justin on Instagram, we'll put, Justin, you've got to put your tag on the screen. Now, he's starting to do podcasts, and he said, hey, guys, do you want to use this and tell people about it too? Give him a bit of exposure. We said, absolutely, we're all about that. So hit him up. He'll give you some good rates if you say we referred you. So thank you very much. Also, the venue, Scott, how good is it?
I'm impressed.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
You can kick back here. You can play golf. There's a little golf room. Did you see that?
Yep.
There's cereal. Is that free? Maybe. But it's really, really nice. This is so
Cucumber infused water.
literally cucumber infused water. I'm absolutely loving it. All right.
Yep.
Now, if you're new to the podcast, we answer your questions. We talk about my brand, Neverhome, which is an activewear brand, which is rapidly growing because of my dedication to it, putting my life into it. And Scotty's answering your fitness questions, and it kind of works together, Neverhome and the fitness and the clothing. So we're grateful because you keep watching it, so it gives us reasons to make more content. So, Scott, let's get straight into it.
Go for it.
Question number 1. I fell off my diet for a week, and I've been dieting for 5 months prior. I'm not sure what to do now. So they've been a week off their diet. What do they do?
Okay. Well, what are your options, basically? Do you just keep going in the direction you're going? Probably not.
Yeah.
The problem with falling off your diet for, one meal is one thing. But often people's mentality is, well, I messed up. Well, might as well keep going. I'll write the day off. The day was a write-off. Then the next day happens again. Then before you know it, it's, oh, well, I'll start next week. I'll start on Monday. Write the rest of the week off. And then it just becomes creating bad habits again. So I would definitely learn from those mistakes. And if you have a meal that's off, if you're trying to stick to a plan, don't try to outdo it or rectify it, or just get back to the next meal. Learn from your mistake and don't beat yourself up. Don't be too hard on yourself either. We are all human. We do make mistakes. So just get back on track. If you've got a coach, be honest with him, and they can help give you some alternatives. Maybe it's time to throw in some high days in there or whatnot, but talk to them about how to manage these kind of scenarios and just get right back to it. So
get some advice from your coach.
I would do that. And if it's been, if it's absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. But, I try to, I've got a really good communication with my clients, and they're very honest about, when they might have a slip up. And I never give somebody a hard time about being honest. Kind of like with your kids. If kids are truthful with you,
Yeah, good point.
you make sure that they feel comfortable to tell you more, so that we just find a solution for that. And, we talked about this before. So, if you're going to be around these temptations, think ahead. So what I would suggest people do is they eat before they go out to a situation where there might be some food that they're very tempted by. So they're not going in a super hungry environment. Take your food with you, or plan for having a little bit extra, but just not going completely overboard. And if you do, it happens, right? Just back to it. Don't write the rest of the day off, the week off. Just back on board.
So touching on that, I'm a real estate agent, like full-time, and we have a lot of corporate events and Christmas parties, end of financial year parties and things. So I know that there's heaps of food at these things. There's cake, there's chocolates, there's platters. So I'd always have a really highly voluminous meal before I'd go, drink heaps of water, and I'd eat just before I'd leave. So we jump into the limo.
Yeah,
I'd be in the office, everyone's drinking, whatever it is, and I'd have a big meal, eating it out of a bowl. That'd be tuna, chicken, salad, whatever. And I go pretty full because when I get to the event, I'd still nibble on some food, but I might eat a tiny little bit. And I leave the event feeling really good because I conquered not having to eat all that junk. The other guys at work, they're eating the platters, they're eating the fried food. Because when you have a few drinks too, you just eat.
Inhibitions go down 100%.
Yeah, and you eat so much crap. So you have to be a little bit strategic with it. You want to enjoy life a bit too, but you enjoy life when you're in good shape. Like that's what it's about. When you know you're disciplined, that's when you really can feel proud about what you're doing.
Most definitely.
And that's how we sort of live our lives.
Most definitely.
Also, I'll tell you, those shoots we did recently, I did one for Chemist Warehouse.
Yeah.
So Chemist Warehouse reached out, did another nationwide campaign for some subs. Then I had one for Jarvis for his shoot the next day, and then I teed up one for Neverhome too. So I was trying to get really lean for those shoots.
Yeah.
So probably, I think a week out, I dropped all my peanut butter off to my girlfriend. I said, babe, here's my peanut butters, because at night I just put a little bit too much on my yogurt, and I know that extra 200, 100 calories could really make
very dense in calories. Yes,
big difference. So be strategic, and then when I do fall off the diet, because I've done it before, man, I might do half a day of eating crap. I'm really hard on myself. I probably push it too hard and I go too much cardio.
Yeah.
So I think you have to, how do you interact with, talk to your coach and just be conscious of it, maybe not getting to that state in the first place. Yeah. So those higher carb days probably work.
Well, there's times, well, if somebody's doing that, then we don't want to do it back to back immediately after that. But there can be times where we either do a diet break, strategically plan to put them up into maintenance calories for a bit, or a high carb day if they're really depleted to replenish glycogen stores. So there's scenarios for both.
But it is a difficult one. And then I guess people just fall off and that's how obesity occurs. People
just keep going.
150 kilo people walking around. They've fallen off the diet for for years. Okay, so question number 2. Thoughts on high rep ranges for muscle growth, say 30 to 50 reps?
Okay. Well, it can work. We know that the stimulating reps, or the most effective reps, are the ones towards the end of the set that start getting more challenging. The reps start slowing down, and those are going to be the most effective. Now, you might be gathering a lot of fatigue before you get to those effective reps. So I don't know if that's going to be the most strategic way of muscle growth. We used to think there was such a thing called sarcoplasmic hypertrophy, right? That's that cell swelling. Mm-hmm. So we'd talk about doing high reps for that swelling effect in the muscle.
Is that to get the pump kind of into you?
Well, to some degree, but we know the pump doesn't have anything to do with muscle growth. And that cell swelling is only transient, so it doesn't last. So that doesn't have to do with what we were after is myofibril hypertrophy of the growth of the actual muscle fibers. And that's best done through progressive overload, getting the muscle stronger, and those reps that start slowing down, they get harder. So if I'm going to be the most efficient, I would probably stick with a lower rep range and get to those hard ones quicker and not have as much fatigue before I'm getting to those effective reps. However, if you enjoy some high rep sets, 20 reps and whatnot, I still do them sometimes because I like it. It's mentally challenging as well, but it's gonna cause a lot more fatigue. But do what you enjoy. It does work though.
Yeah. I think I couldn't imagine failing on 50 reps. That's just too long.
We've done it.
Yeah,
we've done 50 rep hack squats, and it's mentally challenging. Like
we have.
I love it for the just the sheer the hell of it really. But as far as it being more efficient and better use of our time, probably not.
And I think that would build up too much fatigue for me to even get through my days.
We wouldn't do it all the time.
No. Next question. Does the missus get jealous that you get looks from the opposite sex from being jacked?
I don't. One thing you'll find is the more jacked you get, the more guys you're gonna get look at you. Yeah, the girls stop looking at you, right? And the guys want to come up and they say, "Hey, man, what do you do for this or that?" And they want to get all the advice and everything like that. So that definitely is the case.
How many guys come up to us and go, "Why are your legs so vascular?"
Yeah, the girls aren't coming. The girls aren't looking. And look, my missus, she doesn't get jealous anyway. She's got nothing to worry about. She's gorgeous herself. She's better looking than any of the girls in the gym, that's for sure. And I don't look. In fact, I was showing Johnny the other day. I was on my Instagram feed, and just in the search section,
it's all Porsches,
and all you see is cars and dudes. Like you don't see. I'm not looking. I don't care.
Touching on that though, with relationships, I think if you're one to look, you might think your partner might be looking. So I've never thought my missus would be looking because I'm not there to check out girls. I'm there to train. When we go into performance, we just train. We're there to do the work.
Yeah.
But you need to make your partner feel confident and trusting you.
Yeah, because you're having her help out with looking after the women's side of things a little bit, aren't you?
Yeah, like I'm bringing in a really large high-end women's range, and I consciously think of me having a lot of fit girls wearing the clothes, but she has no doubts whatsoever because I've never planted any seed in her head that I'm a shady person, that's doing anything dodgy. I don't if I wanted to do that, I'd just do it, and I'd be single.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'd
Yeah.
just go.
If you want to look, if you want to go somewhere,
Yeah.
get rid of your relationship first.
Exactly.
100%.
Because if there's jealousy in a relationship or there's toxicity, it can ruin your life. That's for sure. So if you've got a missus, boys, don't make her feel shit. And girls, don't do it to the guys too. You have to think about the other person's feelings.
My wife always says one thing. She goes, make sure there's no double standards, right? What would you feel comfortable with me doing, right? So, this is part of the reason I don't train females. I just focus on the guys as well.
Yeah, 100%. Got to have a bit of trust there. All right, next question. Can you run T3 without T4? And just touching on, so this is thyroid medications for fat loss?
I just will say this is not medical advice. This is just, hypothetical situations. So T3, tertroxin, T4, thyroxin, in most medical situations, they would generally prescribe T4. That's generally the way they go about it. T4 will convert to T3, the active form of thyroid. And this is all measured on blood work, looking at your TSH levels, free T3, free T4, and seeing how that all looks. And it's much easier to monitor that when somebody's taking T4 medication. But in let's say a bodybuilding situation and stress is very high and food's low and all that kind of stuff, we're not necessarily getting the correct conversion from T4 to T3. It might even convert to an inactive form of T3 known as reverse T3. And they don't really talk too much about this even in medical situations. So that could be counterproductive. So there can be a case for using T3 monotherapy at very small amounts. I wouldn't be doing anything on a larger scale though, because T3 can chew up muscle very, very quickly. But when you're dieting for a long period of time, your conversion from T4 to T3 is going to slow down to your T3. This can be looked at with blood work. You can see where your free T3, your TSH and your free T3 levels are, and you can see if that's a problem. Now, if it is, you don't have to take thyroid medication. You could do something that we talked about, potentially a diet break, where we push carbs up for a few days or a week, and that can help reset that and just get the thyroid going again. So that could be an option. Or if you're using a little bit of the T3 to augment that instead, because you don't have time for a diet break, less is more. You don't need to be doing larger amounts, thinking it's going to get you shredded. It's just going to chew through muscle.
Sounds like you should just be very careful with these things.
100%. They're medications, so you don't want to mess with them.
Especially if you're working so hard to build this muscle too. You'd hate to see it go to waste. All right. Thanks for that answer.
I'll go into this. I had one guy, right? He wanted to use T3, and I said, no, man, it's not necessary. And, we got him ready for the show, and we were trying to load him up with carbs prior to the show, and he still looked flat and stringy, and he just wasn't looking great, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. He competed. He ended up, competing and whatnot. And after the show, he said, man, I ended up using it anyway. I didn't tell you. And I'm like, that explains it. I know that now. I know why your body wasn't responding how I wanted it to.
Wow.
He said, sorry, I won't do it again. So the next year we prepped him. We didn't use it, and he came in, full, hard, looked a lot better, much leaner, looked like two different. Well, he was probably 8 kilos heavier on stage, better condition.
And I guess I'm going to jump topics, but if you have a coach, be honest with them about everything. Don't hide things and try and it defeats the purpose of getting a coach, right?
100%.
Yeah. So tell your coach what you're doing. If you want to take a certain supplement.
And look, it's one of those things where a lot of things people are going to do anyway, and I would probably discourage somebody against it. But if they're going to do it anyway, at least I would
tell you.
Say, all right, tell me, and here's how we would probably do it the better way than what you would do on your own,
based on your knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah, good answer there. Because I could see that happening too. People just stuck in their ways and wanting to do separate things.
Yeah.
This is a great question. So this is question number 5. Can you run low-dose test year-round, 150 to 200 milligrams a week, and be safe?
Okay, again, this is not medical advice. See your doctor about this. But so I would look at it this way. If you were in a hypogonadal state, so if your levels were super low, that's not going to be very healthy. And you're going to have, probably
low
energy,
low sex drive, low motivation.
100%, definitely. And your health is going to suffer potentially.
Yeah.
TRT amounts might be kind of in the realms of 150 a week, somewhere in there. So that's not unrealistic. So if that brings you back up to a baseline of where your levels would be, then that might be a better quality of life and a lot less health implications than being on the low end.
I think so too.
But I would get all this checked, and if you are truly in a situation where you're hypogonadal, see a doctor, get a referral for an endocrinologist, and maybe you could be qualified to get a script and be on a TRT for a period of time.
There's a couple of guys I met that are on TRT and in their 30s, changed their lives. They told me. Yeah.
Well, this is me. I'm on TRT. I've got actually prescription for it from an endocrinologist. Because with bodybuilding, I kind of shut my levels down. I didn't do anything crazy, but my levels weren't coming back. And this is, after I was 40, I was very honest and so I talked to the endocrinologist about this, and we looked at my levels, and they weren't really coming back to where I wanted them to be. And we got a proper prescription for TRT. So there we are.
I'm proud to say I've been natural my whole life. It's good. What's a good leg machine to build size?
Well, do the one you get the most out of, for one thing. So, find something you connect well with, that you can go damn near failure on, and that you can progress on. For me, if you were looking at quads, I'd probably say, really like a good pendulum. You can bury yourself in the hole on that one, get a nice knee flexion there, and extensions. For hamstrings, I'd probably go maybe a seated leg curl and a hip hinge, like a straight-legged deadlift. And I feel for the straight-legged deadlift, I like to do them in a Smith machine. I feel a little bit more stable in that. But, those are for me. So, everyone has they have their own picks. And obviously we have different, femur lengths, and we just want to make sure that we're finding something that we connect well with and we can progress on, and you get the most bang for buck. So play around with it.
I think what's worked for me is hack squats.
Yeah.
And we spoke about this the other day, the style of training. Some people do this like 1 rep in reserve sort of stuff. Yeah. It's hard to gauge that. We were talking about this the other day. You can't. There's usually a bit more than you think. If you really got to push yourself, like in the gym, like when you do your calisthenics, Christian, probably like there's something that might G you up to get that bit extra. So I just try to go to failure, and even then, there's probably a little bit more if I really,
If you were trying to have 1 rep in reserve, now for those that don't know, a rep in reserve would be 1 rep short of actual true failure, where you're not be able to do the rep anymore.
Yeah.
But how to gauge that? Even me, I've trained for 30 plus years, I would have a hard time knowing where my actual failure point would be. So I try to go as close to failure as possible. So there'd be times where, if I'm thinking, okay, I'll leave 1 in the tank, I've probably left 3 or 4 in the tank. And if I've been training this long and I'm leaving that many in the tank, imagine how many you're leaving in the tank if you're trying to leave 1 there. You might be leaving 5 or 6. I've taken people through sessions and I've gone, okay, 1 more. And it ends up being like 10 more. So, I'd say if you have a choice, go to failure and find your threshold.
Because that failure probably is still 3 reps in reserve.
For most people,
I think that's what I found with myself.
Yeah.
Because I'm getting so much progress on my legs, right? But if I was training to failure, the science says 1 rep in reserve might be better.
And the reason, so what we're finding is...
Explain that.
Okay.
Going off the topic of the leg stuff.
All right.
This is just quality content for you.
So if we're talking about, the most effective reps are going to be the ones that start slowing down. We know that mechanical tension is what drives muscle growth. And we're creating more tension in the muscle as the rep gets harder, the reps start slowing down, and we're creating a ton of tension there. Now, if we are actually going all the way to failure and it's not moving at all, we're potentially causing more fatigue, possible muscle damage, and that's not necessarily a good thing. So if you stop just shy of that and leave 1 rep in the tank, that might be slightly better. But leaving 3 or 4 or 5 in the hole in the tank is going to be a lot worse. So I'd rather be on that closer to failure side than not.
I was getting some behind the scenes for my Instagram because that was good. So I'm always doing failure. You're doing. I think I go to failure much more than you do.
You probably do.
Yeah.
In fact,
I've never seen you bottom out on the hack squat too much. I
Yeah.
do. Yeah.
And you know, I've sometimes get out of a set and went, yeah, I had three.
You
more.
had three
I
more.
had three more.
Yeah.
But there's been a number of times where I'm
And
just
there's times like, you motherfucker, let's go. Bang.
yeah. There's times that I
Someone
slap myself
pisses
around a
him
little
off
bit.
in the gym.
Yeah.
I love those moods you're in. I kind of think, oh God, what's wrong with him today? Well, who's upset him? Okay, next question. That was touching base on leg machine. Do what feels good for you, and if you have long legs or long femurs. Okay, next question. Number 7, optimal exercise order for posterior day. So what's posterior?
Posterior day, there'd be, you know, your whole back development. So it'd be your back, your traps, your erectors, your glutes, your hamstrings, calves. You know,
Is
your
calves
whole
posterior as well?
Yeah, potentially it's your backside, right?
Yep.
Now,
And there's a bit more. Back is lagging. So
Okay.
optimal exercise order, back's lagging.
so you're going to get the most benefit from what you start with. So if your back's lagging and you're doing your posterior chain, let's say your back and hamstrings, you start with your back. Simple. If the other was true, if your hamstrings were in need of more help than your back and you're doing your back and hamstrings in one day, you start with your hamstrings.
Why is it beneficial to start with that strongest at the start of the workout?
It's not. It doesn't always have to do with just your muscle strength. You actually get more benefit to muscle contractions, and as you get more fatigued, you lose some of the ability to contract the muscle.
Really? Yeah.
So it's a lot more complex than that. I'm trying to think of how to explain it simply.
So if you've got a lacking body part, calves,
Start
which
with
is
them.
you right now, you got bad calves. I know. You're watching this. I guarantee your calves are crap. Start with calves.
100%.
Start with calves. We tend to do that a lot. You know, if you're going to be early, you know, I'm doing calves, and I walk in, you're screaming on the calf machine. I'm like, there he is. That's my training partner.
That's it.
So start with your weakest body parts first, and then move through them to your strongest on the posterior, or sections. of
Well,
back.
there's okay.
like
so
your upper back, mid back, lower back, rear delts.
if we're talking about exercise selection and order, there's a lot more to it than just that.
Yeah.
So this specific question was just basically, if you are wanting to work your posterior day and your back was lagging, what would you start with? And I would say start with your back. Now, aside from that, there's a number of ways you could look at structuring your program. You could start with the more challenging, harder movements to easier movements. You could start with the ones that are more that take up more, like for example, something internally braced, like let's say an RDL or a straight-legged deadlift, because it's going to take more skill. So you might start with something that takes more skill, but on the other hand, you might want to be more warmed up before you do that movement. So you might want to do some lat stuff before you do your high skill work. So there's so much to programming that I can't just answer in 30 seconds.
And is this something you would take your clients through? Because I know when I started with you, you said you look good, you can be better.
Yeah.
And I thought, I know what I'm doing. And you said you need to bring up your shoulders, your back, hamstrings, arms.
Yeah.
So you restructure my whole program to where I only do. I might have trained chest 4 times in the last year. Really, no, not really, but 2 or 3 working sets a week on chest. That's it, because my chest was pretty strong, and that's something you could help your clients with.
Yeah. So we look at
Give them
we look at
exercise
what absolutely. So we look at something that let's say a lagging body part.
Yep.
We want to prioritize that. We might put more volume there, whether that's more volume in one session or whether it's broken up over two sessions, more volume, more frequency. But we don't just add volume. We also look at something, okay, if we're just adding volume,
There's a balance, right?
There's a balance. So what might be a stronger body part? What might be a strength for them, for you, for your chest? So we pull back some volume of something that's better. And you can you'd be surprised how little you have to do to maintain a strong body part.
Yep.
Who was I talking to the other day? Was it Drew the other day?
Disco Drew.
Yeah, was it him that trains his legs once every? Was it Drew?
He's got very good legs.
Yeah, no. Somebody was talking
surprised.
to that only does leg once every 2 weeks or something at the moment, and is not losing any size whatsoever. It might have been him, or
If it was anyone to be Drew, his legs are
Yeah.
huge.
I think it was Drew.
Yeah. So there you go.
And then he said, "Man, I realized how little you have to do
To maintain.
to maintain, and they're even growing on like once a fortnight or something like that. So
Wow, that's crazy.
Tom Platz even got to that stage at one stage.
So that's an interesting one. And touching on that as well, just full change of subject. Have you noticed that, like I noticed this, people kind of just stick to the things that they're good at the gym. And then
Very true, man.
And they keep getting better at that, but then they, like...
The good body parts keep getting better and the worst ones stay behind.
I rarely, like Daniel, who we trained with yesterday, Daniel Sands, he's probably got the most balanced physique I've seen.
Very nice, yes.
Everything. He's got everything. Calves, back, legs,
Yes.
forearm, everything. Even good looking. He's a perfect specimen, you know. And then you've got other IFBB pros, physique guys that just don't have the legs.
Yeah.
Or they've got huge legs and no arms.
Yeah.
Like for me, my arms need work. And I didn't train arms a lot. I probably neglected them. So I think if you're going to start getting into it and you want that balanced physique, you really got to start doing the things you're probably not good at. And I'll tell you what it is. I reckon it's ego.
Yeah.
Because that body part's shit. So you go train calves. You're loading up heavy on calves, but you're not doing anything on them anyway. So they never really progress. Go back to basics.
My legs were shit. My legs were terrible.
Were they?
When I first started training? Because I trained in the garage. I didn't have good leg equipment.
Yeah.
Just did some, and squats it didn't feel quite right for me. Even squats today, like they just don't feel quite right. And I've obviously made up for it, but they were so behind. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and you might be embarrassed. I think you might be embarrassed going to the gym. No one's looking at how much you lift, really. I mean, maybe they are, but if they are, fuck that person.
Yeah.
Anyway, what's wrong with them?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'd rather see some good tempo, good form.
Yeah.
And coming, close to failure. And I like to see that. I don't look at how much weight.
So much poor form at the gyms. And I'm not form police anymore. I just don't say anything.
Yeah.
No, because you can really offend some people. All right. We've gone off topic.
Just lead by example.
Absolutely. Okay, next question. How do competitors grow in between comps in a calorie deficit?
Okay, so there might be a couple different scenarios here, depending on how long between comps. If we're talking maybe a couple weeks, so let's say somebody does a state show and they do the nationals a couple weeks later and they seem to be a lot bigger. Well, there could be a chance that they did the state show and they were maybe a little bit depleted, maybe they were dehydrated, the muscle wasn't popping.
Yeah.
And they might have had the opposite effect with doing the nationals. And they might be 2-3 kilos heavier on stage, fuller, rounder muscle, looks tighter, looks better, pushing against the skin. So that would have, they might have been pretty much in a deficit the whole time, but they've just manipulated carbs to have that look. Now, let's say the shows are longer between. Let's say, we're talking weeks and weeks or months. Well, chances are they haven't been in a deficit the whole time. Chances are they would have been in a surplus at some stage and growing during a part of that phase before they got leaner for the next show coming. So there's, there'd be one or two of those scenarios.
Can you just do like 2-week growth phase, 2-week cut, 2-week growth, 2-week cut? Because I feel like that's what I'm doing. Seriously. But I'm growing still. If you look over the past year, I have grown.
Yeah.
Not a lot.
Yeah.
I could have grown more, I guess.
Look, ideally you spend if you're wanting to put on quality muscle, it takes a long time. So, at best case scenario, let's say you put on 100 grams of lean muscle tissue in a week, right?
That's a lot.
And that's a lot, right? 100 grams in a week.
That's a little nice bit of steak.
And then let's say you did that for a whole year and you were in a surplus, a slight caloric surplus for a whole year. That would equate to, let's say, 5 kilos, over 5 kilos of lean muscle tissue in a year. But that's a long time being in a slight surplus. So it takes a while to put that. It's a lot easier for most people to get lean than it is. You can put weight on, no problem. I can get the scale to jump up kilos and kilos. But
give me that ice cream.
But put the lean muscle tissue on takes time, and just being consistently in that slight surplus. Yeah. But you might be experiencing times where you get that glycogen supercompensation effect, and the muscle fills up and it appears to be bigger and rounder. But actually put on lean muscle tissue, you need to be in a surplus for longer.
So it's better to stay there for months.
Yeah, longer than the diet phase.
Oh, I know. I'll never do that.
It's not enjoyable. I was talking to somebody the other day, one of my clients, and I really want to grow, but this.
I'd rather be getting lean than doing a growth phase.
And looking in the mirror,
because you look shit.
You don't look as good, and pounding the food down every couple hours, just time to eat. You're not even hungry. You know, oh, got to eat another meal. Like it's not even enjoyable anymore. It's not fun, but if you're really serious about it and you want to put muscle on, it just has to be done.
Yeah. When I see a lean physique, I'm like, whoa.
But at the end of the day,
That's cool.
but they had to be in a surplus for long enough to
grow.
put that muscle on there in the first place. So
Absolutely.
they can't just
Be lean forever. Yeah. Very good point. Okay. Question number 9. Adding lettuce and pickles to meals untracked in prep, is that a bad idea for my progress?
It's fine. So obviously you're probably adding that to create a little bit more volume and satiety, but you know, why not track it for one thing? So you might be having more than you think. I'd use an app like Chronometer or FitnessPal to actually see how much you're doing. I like Chronometer because you can see what micronutrients you're getting. And if you're gonna put that, you know, this extra volume in there, why not put some more micronutrient dense foods like you do, all these different fruits and veggies and whatnot, and you get a lot more of these healthy vitamins, minerals, and electrolytes in you than just having some like shredded lettuce and pickles.
So if you're watching this, the app's called Chronometer. It's what I use to track my food when I occasionally actually track. Don't track as much as I used to.
Like you eat the same thing every day. We know what I could tell you within like.
I eat the same food every day. Yeah, I do. I still weigh my protein every day.
Yeah.
Every single day, and then the rest I just know because I've done it for so long. But the app's called Chronometer. You go to the App Store, Chronometer.
Correct.
It's an orange symbol.
A little apple kind of
It's
thing.
a little apple. Now you can add your meals in that. I think you have to have a pro account from someone to actually section off the meals. If you don't have that, it just tracks your food.
I'm not sure. So I've got the pro account. So if somebody's working with me,
Yes.
I upgrade them to gold.
Yes, okay.
And then they have more options within that.
you
So
do that
you can pay for it and upgrade yourself to gold.
Yeah, okay.
But I do it for free for people.
And so what I'll do is I'll add my my weigh in every morning when I want, and then Scotty would tell me my targets for that week or that day, and I do a weekly. But I want to know how the coaching works, right?
Yeah,
Like, I'm not sure if you've got spaces left, but if you are taking people on, it's how it works. And you tell Scotty your goal and you take a photo of yourself on all angles. I do it in the nude because that's what he asked for. I don't know why. And then
Isn't that what it?
got the 4K camera.
That's the 3D.
And then sometimes you come over in the morning and you're like, Johnny, all right, let's have a look here. And then he'll look at you and tell you what you need to do, and he'll pretty much manipulate your food.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back on this. So adding lettuce and pickles to your meal, you're saying rather than that's okay, still track it, and if you want it to get better, add some more micronutrient dense food.
Yeah, so think about some things like like maybe spinach instead of just regular lettuce, and rocket and capsicum, and these high volume foods that are very low calorie anyway.
Yes,
but you're getting some more micronutrients out of it. Think about digestion though. Sometimes you get too much of those foods, and so much fiber can play a role, and it might not be ideal.
Yeah.
So too much is not necessarily a good thing. Find what works for you.
I found that if I eat too much stuff, I get a little bit gassy, and I got to be careful. Do you? On that as well, like I eat so much fresh fruit and vegetables because I'm sponsored by Alexander's. So I literally walk in, I get 2 boxes of fresh fruit. I think to myself, God, I'm so blessed.
Yes.
That pushes me to eat all this. My food is...
Yeah, you don't let anything go to waste, yeah.
Yeah, I just eat it because it's there, right? But if you didn't have that blessing that I've got now, or money was a little bit tighter because... inflation at the moment is expensive. Food's expensive. If you're tight on cash, people usually cut back on the food. So I well, they might. I'm saying, but is there a way we could just take a multivitamins and greens? Is that the same as?
Look, some of the greens aren't.
Yeah, because I still take a green.
The greens could be a bit expensive too as well. You got a lot of. I take greens because I don't like a lot of the veggies.
Yeah.
For veggies, I eat a lot of raw carrots.
Yes.
It's good fiber. It's low FODMAP, so it doesn't bloat me or anything. And I get Stan's 180-degree greens because there's a ton of glucose disposal agents in there too as well. So it's got berberine, alpha-lipoic acid.
So what is that actually?
bittermilk.
What is that? What's the benefit of a glucose disposal agent?
Glucose
Gets rid of
these
glycogen?
things like berberine.
Yeah.
Allow the muscle to uptake carbs better. So it makes you more insulin sensitive. If I'm going to be real simple about it.
But what's the benefit of being more insulin sensitive for people watching?
Well,
Like why?
it keeps your blood sugar levels more stable.
And what's the benefit of that?
Well, you're able to utilize carbs and store them in the muscles and liver for use, for energy, for pump, for fuel for your sessions.
What's the benefit of that?
Why wouldn't you?
Better workouts.
Why wouldn't you want better? Why wouldn't you want better workouts?
I'll just break things down.
Better workouts,
Why?
better pumps, less potential for fat storage.
Yep.
Why wouldn't you want
Will
to do
that
that?
with recovery too? Because
I'd see why not.
yeah. Okay. So would the Vitago be absorbed better if I had a glucose disposal agent, or
If you're super insulin sensitive and your ability to utilize carbs in the muscle and liver is better, your uptake of these intra-workout carbs is going to be better.
okay?
Yes.
So would that absorb faster maybe in the workout?
Not necessarily.
pumping questions.
That's more of the digestive issue.
Yeah.
But as far as the GLUT4 receptor within the muscle, that being basically like and training itself improves insulin sensitivity. So
Just by training.
just by training. So your ability to uptake carbs around training. That's why I like intra-workout carbs, because just by training, I use the highly branched cyclodextrin around training. The ability to utilize that versus any other time of the day is much better. So
Understand. So that was going off the lettuce and pickles question, but we had a tangent, but on that too, since I started training, I've used intra-workout from pretty much I was 18.
Yeah.
I think it's been majorly beneficial for me.
Remember John Meadows used to, he was using that like, I don't know how many, 30 years ago or something like that. He had the cyclodextrin back then.
Wow.
And even he'd also use a product called
Rest in peace, John Meadows.
Pepto Pro, which is hydrolyzed casein.
And you're using that now, right?
I've been using it for God knows
It tastes like shit, you said.
It tastes terrible. But I use this essential aminos to flavor it.
How come you never get me to try that? I want to try it.
Okay, I'll bring
Yeah,
some.
is it that bad?
It doesn't taste nice.
Wow.
And it's super expensive too.
Okay, well, you can buy it for me. I'm kidding. All right, a couple more questions. We're about half an hour in. So, in a maintenance phase, is a maintenance phase necessary after a bulk, or can I go straight into a mini cut?
Do you want to ask that question again?
Is maintenance phase necessary after a bulk,
Yep.
or can I go straight into a mini cut?
Okay. So if you're going into a mini cut, now you see the purpose of a mini cut is to get you back to the stage where you can grow again. Now, I'll tell you why we do a mini cut generally. So let's say we're in a growing phase and you're starting to get a little too soft.
Okay.
Or digestion's playing a role and you can't eat anymore.
Yes.
Or let's say we talked about blood sugar. Let's say your fasting blood glucose is getting a little high because you're starting to get insulin resistant. You're no longer able to uptake the carbs in the muscle because you're too soft and you've gotten more insulin resistance. Being leaner will fix all that. So we want to go into a deficit as quick and hard as we possibly can so we can wash all that off. We can get leaner, become more insulin sensitive, get rid of the digestive distress, and then get back to growing very soon. So mini cut would be only between maybe 2 to 6 weeks.
That long, 6 weeks even.
Maybe, depending on the person, but just real short, sharp, get into it, and then slowly start pushing food back up from a better position.
So if I've been growth phase for a year, 2 people in a growth phase for a year,
Yep.
this person keeps going on the growth phase.
Yep.
This guy does a 3-week mini cut.
Yep.
He gets quite lean, and then he goes back into a little growth phase. Would he catch up even quicker and grow faster, or relatively the same? Or?
Look at the end point. Like let's say we're talking
Too many
about twins,
variables.
okay? Because everybody's going to be a little bit different. So let's say somebody's getting a little bit soft, a little bit fat, and digestive suffering, and they don't take a mini cut, and they just keep pushing up.
They'll just keep getting
and they keep getting softer and softer, and they're eating a shit ton of calories, and they're just their performance might even be dropping. Now the other person that took this little mini cut gets a little bit leaner, starts pushing food up again, and is growing again. And let's say by the end of the bulk, this other person might not be quite as heavy, but they're going to be a lot leaner, and they're probably going to have more muscle tissue and be in a better position for when they, let's say, start dieting. And that comes to the other point. The person asked, like, would you go, the time where you maybe go to a maintenance phase is if you are going to be doing a long contest prep, let's say, and let's say calories were really high, you might go to maintenance first, feel that out before you go back into a deficit. That's fine too. You don't have to go straight to a deficit. So it depends on the scenario.
So people who are leaner, you're saying, have a better chance of growing than someone who's if they do the same things and the same training, someone in a leaner state may grow better than someone who's...
Because your ability to utilize carbs in the muscle is much better.
Just, John, break it down for people. Yeah. Okay, cool. Because you always said that you kind of wash them off first and then get them into a growing stage.
Yeah. And some people
lots to learn, isn't there?
Some people can stay fairly lean and don't need to do that. You know, not everybody needs to.
Absolutely. Thanks, Scotty. A couple more questions. One more question for this side of things. Question 11. Yeah. The importance of sodium, so salt, and potassium balance. Should we track this?
Yeah, I think so. So this is another benefit of using Chronometer, is you tracks all your micronutrients and electrolytes too as well. And you know the RDA for potassium is I think it's about 5,000 milligrams, right?
That's Chronometer.
So what you can do is you can look and see where your potassium is after a day of eating, and you might be having enough potassium through your potato, sweet potato, spinach, banana, coconut water. So you see where your potassium levels are. And you might even want to weigh, if you're putting sea salt on your food, you might even want to weigh that and see where that ends up, because we want our potassium levels to be potentially higher than our sodium levels. So if you're not having any nutrient-rich foods, you're not getting much potassium, and you're having a shit ton of sea salt, well, your electrolyte balance is going to be way off. Kidneys got to work harder, and you got to be potentially a little bit fluidy. So we want more volume in the muscle cell, and potassium will help that happen. Okay. So we want the potassium to be higher than sodium potentially, maybe even 2-to-1 ratio, or even a 1-to-1 ratio is better than what some people are doing. They're just putting a shit ton of salt in everything and not tracking their potassium. That's why I like that. You see the heart salt or light salt, it's half potassium chloride and half sodium chloride. So it's a way to supplement more potassium and have better ratios that way. And then if you're having all these foods and you see your potassium levels are like 5,000 milligrams plus and your sodium is maybe 3,000 milligrams or whatnot, you're probably in a much better ratio. If you're taking medications, have a look to see if they're potassium sparing. A lot of guys in bodybuilding now are taking an ARB, that's an angiotensin receptor blocker called telmisartan, and that medication is potassium sparing. So we have to be a little bit careful if we're not
eat a couple of bananas. Would that help?
Well, no. What I'm trying to say is you got to be careful not to supplement with extra potassium with something like that, because your body doesn't excrete it as it normally would because of the medication.
Oh, okay.
So you just have to be a little bit careful of potassium sparing medications.
Okay. I don't hear, maybe because I'm not researching all the day, but I don't hear many people talking about potassium compared to sodium, but that's very important. If you have a lack of potassium, will that lead to cramping, or is that more magnesium?
Well, it's a combination of electrolytes and having that balance. With magnesium,
so these are all electrolytes, these things, right?
Yes, correct. Okay. So with magnesium, I'd probably go 10 milligrams per kilo. So you might be looking at maybe 1,000 milligrams of magnesium. My favorite form of magnesium would be magnesium bisglycinate.
Bisglycinate, and you can get that from...
Look, it's a better brand, so the stuff you get in the supermarkets probably isn't it. Stuff
Why
you get in the supermarkets.
Make these products?
Stuff you get in the supermarkets is probably a cheaper form of magnesium, like magnesium oxide.
I heard maybe, or
yeah, magnesium oxide is going to potentially not be very well absorbed and possibly go through you. So if you need a laxative effect, have some magnesium oxide.
There you go.
But I would go with magnesium bisglycinate, or if you want the effects of the calming effect of magnesium, you could go with magnesium threonate, which crosses the blood-brain barrier, and you've got some benefits for that too as well. So I use a combination of magnesium bisglycinate and magnesium threonate.
How much knowledge does he have? It's pretty good, isn't it?
I'm still learning. In fact, I was actually asking Dr. Dean St. Mart what his recommendations were for potassium-sodium ratios. And he was saying he likes a 2-to-1 ratio.
He was asking me, actually. That's probably answer your question. Yeah, Dean, seriously. Yeah. Anyway.
PhD in pharmacology.
Yeah. It's going to come to Johnny Starr.
Yeah.
Awesome, bro. Thanks for answering that. So, potassium balance, so you should track it. And you're saying 10 milligrams per
kilo for
magnesium? Kilo? So I'm 90 kilos, 180 milligrams.
So let's just say 1,000. Just say 1,000.
So 1,000 milligrams, roughly. Okay.
But
can you get that in a couple of capsules?
With all the food, look at how many capsules. I think there's one I get. It's like 400 milligrams per capsule. I have about 4 of those. Now,
would I have enough in the food I'm eating, or should I have a look at it?
I would definitely supplement with magnesium.
I take it every night.
Yep. But I'll look at the type it is and the quality. You know, if you're getting from supermarket.
Yeah. So I will check that.
But as far as potassium, Johnny, you eat a lot of sweet potato and greens and things like that as well. So I think I'd be interested to have a full day of eating, track all your micronutrients, and let's see where your potassium levels are. I think they're going to be good.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see, because if I'm not getting enough potassium from the amount of fruit and veggies I'm eating, no one in this planet is, because I'm eating that much fruit and veggies.
Let's do it, and then we'll put this up as a thing, and we'll
come back. I'll
come back and I'll let you guys know. Put a screenshot in this reel of Johnny's potassium levels.
Awesome. All right, bro. Thank you very much. We had a couple questions regarding Neverhome. So if you don't know, I've got an activewear brand, Christian. I've had it for 10 years. I sell clothes, and I'm really passionate about it. And my goal is to aggressively make this grow as fast as possible. And the last 3 months since January, it's been astronomical. But I've had a few hiccups, so talk about that, what I've learned about the brand. People have put in questions.
And I'm going to interview Johnny.
And you've got to ask
some
me
of
the
these
questions, so we'll get into it too, because some good questions have come in.
So on to Neverhome.
Yes, sir.
So Johnny, how are you juggling full-time real estate, training, content, and Neverhome?
Yeah, great question. I don't even know myself half the days. It's very overwhelming. So I have to be really structured. So for instance, tonight I've got a 5:30, I've got this. And after this, I've planned this. I'm going to Wolf Media after this. I'm seeing Will and Sam Perkins. Their office is around the corner. Do you know those guys? So they're my media team. I'm catching up with them after that. Then I'm going to see a developer he's my mentor, 5:30 for dinner. Then after that, I got a client referral. This guy referred me from Instagram 18 months ago. He said, I got someone who's selling a house in Melbourne. The guy was from Canberra. Wow. Alexander's his name is. So I'm seeing that client tonight at 7:30. So it's a pretty long day for me today. I got up at 5:30 packing orders. So I have to manage. That's why I went to bed at 8 p.m. last night. Remember I said? I went to bed at 8 p.m. last night because I knew today's a long day and I know weight training today because I knew I had the podcast. So I have to be super organized, super disciplined. People contact me. I see it ringing. I go, that person can wait because I've got to do. Sometimes I won't reply to people. No. I've got to focus on me and my goals right now. So I've been a little bit ruthless.
So if you see Johnny, you see him on Instagram training and all that. Believe me, like he has to schedule his training sessions in days in advance. We go, okay, how about, we need to do this session at 6:30 a.m.
Yep.
Because we need to be back by this.
I've got a gap between 3 and 5.
Yep, and we do it in those gaps. So props to you, man, for juggling it all.
Because I'm an auctioneer, so I call auctions on the weekends. Then I have pre-auction meetings during the week. Then I have a Monday morning sales meeting with the team. We have Thursday sales training. We have corporate events. And then I've got to do the open for inspections, do the buyer callbacks, list property. There's a bit of work to do. But at the same time, I do Neverhome because a lot of it's just from this. If I'm on WeChat or WhatsApp with my manufacturers, I pack the orders in the morning, every morning now, because I get up really early. I drop them off at the post office. But it's, in a nutshell, I work really 16 to 18 hours, probably 16 hours a day I work. Yeah. Wow. And I saw Elon Musk talk about it, and he goes, you got to put in the work. You're putting in more work than anyone else. You'll get more bang out of your days, and it's been working.
What do they say? Yeah. The harder you work, the luckier you get.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm working my ass off. But
you must be lucky.
I do enjoy it. I don't. Not many people can do what I do. I'm telling you now, in the most humblest way. I got to be nice. I got to make content.
I couldn't do that.
Yeah, I got to be engaging, inspirational. So to my girlfriend too. I don't talk about it, but I know that I've got a gift from God with my ability to communicate. Yeah, you do. And that's been through sales. So if I can share that, inspire, and make some money out of it too, I'm living the dream. 100%. You know what I mean? So good question. It's time management. All right, next question.
Next question. So with the Adidas situation, what has it taught you?
Yeah, so when Adidas came to me with a cease and desist, I was, when it happened, I was really taken back. I'm like, oh God, this is full on, because firstly, it cost me heaps of money. I had to go to lawyers, legal fees, Lucky I got looked after by that from my mate Stefan.
Can I interject? I remember this was a time period where we were trying to go into a growth phase with you. We were trying to eat more, and you were too stressed to eat, so you weren't able to get the food down.
No.
So it was affecting you in sleep and everything. So yeah,
Hit me, and that I was killing it at work too. I think I did like a really big couple months prior for my real estate, and this hit me, and I'm like, you know what, this is awesome because I'm gonna come out of this stronger. What that made me, so if you don't know, I had some legal issues with Adidas, with my brand, just had some copyright issues. I thought it might happen, so I brought in more shorts with 2 stripes on them. I had 2 stripes on them. And they said to me, you can't sell these either because we think you've only sold those on the basis that had 3 stripes and it looks like our brand. I'm like, all right, cool. People will buy it because it's the brand. It's nothing. I think I got the best brand in the world.
I like them without the stripes. 10
Much
times
better.
The classy.
Have a look at these. Look at these fuckers, bro. Look at those. See, no stripes, just great. But they had stripes on them before the shorts. Best selling shorts in the country, I think, at the moment. I can't keep them in stock. Anyway, so that taught me resilience. Came out of it, and I said to myself,
You could have folded.
yeah, I never would have. But
No,
but part of me,
some people would have.
part of me thought, oh fuck, should I just give this in and just go all in on real estate, write $2 million a year, get a couple PAs, make heaps of money, just be a real estate agent. I thought, fuck, I don't want to be a fucking real estate agent. That is this. Don't get me wrong, I love real estate, but there's no legacy I'm leaving behind. What can I leave for my kids? What can I leave the world with the brand? I've got to keep pushing the brand. That's it, 100%. Needs to be with the brand. So I pushed hard, got through that.
And that leads to the next question. What are your biggest takeaways and learnings from the business, the good and the bad?
Biggest takeaways, I know we don't have much time. Biggest takeaways for learning from the business is keep pushing no matter what, because it only fails until you stop with whatever you do. So as soon as I stop it, I've lost. Because I kept pushing through, there's been so many things I've learned through this over the years. Because I kept pushing through, I've always won. I'm always winning because the brand's still alive and it's going. And there could have been times I stopped, I would have lost. The game would have been over. So I wouldn't change anything because it's made me who I am now. But the key takeaways and learning lessons would have been to delegate. Because I'm such a perfectionist. If I delegated earlier, I would have got ahead quicker, but I'm glad it just sort of happened as it did. So build teams, get more advice, and give more too. That's the biggest takeaways. Keep going.
So what do you look for in influencers for the Neverhome brand?
Yeah. There's a couple of ways to market. There's paid marketing, which I'm doing now through Meta, so Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, user-generated content, so UGC, which is really popular now. And then there's influencers. Look at Gus Trainer, like you met Gus.
Yeah, great kid.
Man, you look at his profile. If you see it, this kid's Instagram is cool looking, good looking guy, great physique. Got to have a great physique because the brand's, you got to have a great physique. But it needs to be engaging content. So if you're scrolling, what's going to stop you from scrolling and make your eyes look? Because that time that
something a bit different,
or informative. So someone that can make informative content that's good, got a great physique. Because people are messaging the Instagram now. If I show you the Team Neverhome Instagram, there's a couple guys that have small followings. I send them some stuff. They're making the best content. And they can leverage us. I say to them, hey, we'll leverage you. Like, look, when you started, you had 40 followers. Now you got 5,000 in the space of a year and a half, 2 years. We've put you out there. You're making content. You're an influencer without knowing it. Do you know what I mean? We've created an influencer in you. So you've got to be able to influence, good physique, no training, and live and breathe the brand. Someone who's never home.
Yeah.
Pretty much it.
Yeah.
You got to look good though.
And so what company do you use for your clothing?
We use, I've tried many manufacturers. We have different manufacturers for the hats because they specialize in hats. The varsity jackets coming through a separate manufacturer. The shirts, we've got 2 manufacturers. I've been looking at getting bags made. That's the same manufacturer as the hats. Probably 5 or 6. Yeah. There's many. People ask me for my manufacturers. I don't like to give it out because I've worked my ass off to find these and build the relationships.
And even so, you know, the amount of back and forth you go to get it right, you know, it's not cheap to get these samples done, and then you got to wait for the samples to come. And the first sample is never right. It's, you know, it's well, for most people it'd be right, but Johnny's a perfectionist, so it needs to be better than right.
Yeah.
So he will go back. I'll say, oh, that's awesome. No, I've got to change this, and this. So I've sent it back to him, and I've asked for him this to change. And then he gets another sample. Yeah. And probably tweak 2 or 3 times before it gets right. So before you get the finished product, then he has to wear it for a while to make sure that it actually lasts, you know, the some good workouts and some washes and things like that too as well. So it's been a lot of processes. It's not just, you know, coming out of nowhere.
Yeah, so you got to check the GSM on the fabrics, the weight, and then I have to wear the products for months just to make sure. I'll give you an example. I went to a new manufacturer and I got some quarter sleeve zip ups made, really high end stuff. Great manufacturer, doing some really big brands, because pretty much most of us will use the same manufacturers. I wore it for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month. Sent him a photo. The stitching started to come apart, and it was double stitched. I said, "Hey, I've already placed an order for 300 items as well, just for this beautiful top. They're remaking me another sample. It's pushed back the whole process 4 months. 4 months. So that's 4 months. I could have been selling this 4 months ago, making money. You know,
No, but you're not willing to put out a subpar product.
But lucky I sent them the photo. They said this won't happen again. I'm going to send another sample out, so it takes a bit of time.
Will you be having a long sleeve for the colder months?
Yeah. I've got puffer jackets coming in too. I held off on those to get them in for winter.
Awesome.
So the ducktail jackets, a quarter sleeve zip-lops, and compression range.
Fantastic.
My compression range is the shit.
I'm excited.
Yeah. And you know what? It's kind of cool because when I wear the compression, even if you have a little bit of body fat, it's like when the girls wear the tights, it sucks you in. You look really good. Guys, if you see my new compression range and you wear it and you have like a mid physique, you go mid to good. With a pump, you look great. Like chicks will go, he looks all right. Yeah. Because my girlfriend told me, she goes, you look good in this. Yeah. So trust me, if you got a little bit of body fat, it'll really work. I'd love to see you in one of those. Okay. Your arms will look sick.
Another question, when will you restock the shorts?
Restocking of shorts will be April. So it should be April. And we have, I'll tell you the colours. So I try and be a trend setter with the colours.
Yeah.
I don't follow the trends.
No, you don't.
I swear people copy what I do. I'm very confident because I pick the colours, try to do something different. We got a beautiful maroon.
I love it.
I went a really nice grey. I've gone back to a navy blue. We did an off-white and I didn't do the green again. I just wanted to have them limited.
Yeah.
And we went back to just black.
Cool.
So they're coming back in.
And are you doing casual cut T-shirts and singlets?
Yes. So the T-backs that I'm bringing in, I had one beautiful coloured. Should I bring it up on the screen? No, I won't bring it up. I had a beautiful striped blue T-back that I made with blue, white, navy blue, all these different colours. They sold out. I wanted to do it limited, but so many people said, "Can I bring that back?" So I'm bringing those ones back in. My multicoloured one that I just released, they're so popular. I didn't think it would be that popular because I thought it's a bit out there. People love it. Like people,
I actually don't mind. I might have to get one. I might have to get one.
And if you have a bit of a tan, it looks even better.
I might have to get one.
And I actually redesigned that again. So I made the fabric a little bit more stretchier. I added a little bit of nylon to it.
Yeah.
So the products get better each time.
Yeah. Because I'm usually kind of very conservative, baggy, black.
Wear it, man. Like,
you know, but you know what? I like it so much. I like it on you. I like it on other people. But I'm like, for me, I like.
Guys, you know how many people say to me, I'm not ready to wear a T-back, and you got a good physique? Buy a freaking stringer and try it on, and you'll get a pump. Show your physique off.
Yeah.
Like, trust me, I've been wearing these since I was 16.
I know.
Don't be afraid to put a freaking stringer on. You will look good if you have a decent body. And even if this is not being to drive sales, but make yourself a goal to get confident enough where you can wear one. I never knew
that's
people
my goal
even
is to
worried.
get confident enough to wear that coloured stringer. That's
yes,
my goal.
I'll get you
All
one.
right. Okay.
We got the cut-off originals coming back too.
Oh, fantastic.
So that's just the sleeveless shirts, and I've redesigned those again. So every design I do gets a little bit better because I learn and I improve them. So the collars on these are a little bit thicker now.
Yeah.
Even where I put the tags on these, they used to scratch my neck, so I put them on the side here.
Oh, that's brilliant.
You know,
I got
1%.
sensory issues. Like with kids.
Right, you see my hats? What I wrote here? If you look at that, even on my hat, on the hang, like no one sees this. You know, it says never compromise, never give up. On my little hang tags there.
Fantastic. So it's the little things.
No one's noticed it.
It's the little things, and these are the things that sets Neverhome apart from other brands.
Thank you.
What else would you say sets Neverhome apart?
Yes. Okay. So the products are absolutely world class. There's no question about it. I know for a fact that my products will stand up against the best brands in the world. And as I progress, I hand on heart think they will be the best in the world. Because I've bought all Lululemon, I've bought all the brands, I've checked it out. I'm going, hold up a sec, I can make this better. I'm very intelligent, I'll work it out, I'll wear it every day. So the products are good. But putting that aside, what the brand resonates to people and the culture we bring. So I'm trying to build culture and community because you can wear any clothes, right? Like, why are you wearing that Nike top now? It's Nike, it's cool, but if it had another brand on it, would you wear it? Probably not, but it's Nike. Like, whatever you're wearing there too, I don't know, I think you're wearing Louis Vuitton or whatever it is, Justin. It's the branding, right? It's all the branding. So I have to create a brand, and I've created it that people want to be a part of and feel proud to wear. Someone bought some clothes from me today. He rocked up on his motorbike. Goes, dude, I'm riding around my motorbike because everyone gets 3 stickers when they buy my clothes. Goes, I see people putting the stickers above their registration plates on their cars, and I beep him because he's got it on his motorbike, and it's like a brotherhood.
Oh, nice.
I'm like, oh my God, I didn't even know people are doing that.
Wow.
So I thought, how can I build a cool brand that people like? And I've built that too. So it's about the culture, the brand, and when you think of it, something you can be proud to wear of. Yeah. What's the name? Neverhome. What does it mean? I'm always out doing things. I'm in the gym. I'm hustling. I'm working. I'm never home. It's just so cool. So that's what represents. That's the difference with the brand.
Love it.
Great question.
So what's the plan with the women's range? Is it competitive space? How will you get traction there?
It's a competitive.
It
space.
is a very competitive space. Yeah, the women's, they're everywhere.
Yep. So great question. Firstly, I'll make sure the products. Everyone knows the guys' products are great. Do the exact same thing with the women's. That's why I spent 2 years working on it. And then, we built this team of the guys and influencers wearing the clothes. I've been working on a team. So if you're a girl and watching this now, you want to get involved, I'll make this a reel. So if you're a girl and you want to get involved with Neverhome and the female stuff, and you like the products we're making, message us and let us know. We'll review you. And if we feel you can be a part of it, we'll get you involved, because we want girls to create content, put fitness content out, wearing the clothes, and then be inspiring other girls to get on board with the brand. So it's not the whole way we're pushing the brand with the female stuff is not hypersexualized.
Yep.
So it's not.
It's more of a community feel.
Well, if you look at any big brands now, do you ever see Nike, Puma, or Adidas, or Lululemon where they're doing scrunch bum? Never, right? That's a very niche market that I don't want to go down. Like that, the other brands can have that. That's great, but I don't want my missus, my sister, my mum to be wearing that stuff. Neverhome will never be that. It'll be super flattering, but it just won't be over sexualized. Like this is just not what my brand will be about. So that's where the brand will be, and then marketing it in a way with Wolf Media. We're setting up a marketing plan where it's going to be, okay, this is actually cool. It's like, it's not just bodybuilding. It's a brand for females we can be involved in. That's a community. So I'm working on that now. When we release in June, July with the female stuff, you'll see that take. I've got a pretty confident with the strategy. So if you like it, girls, and if you see this too, and you like the content we put out, let us know what you think. Give us some advice.
So we need some oversized bulking apparel. Embrace the bulk.
Yeah, like what you're wearing now?
Yeah.
Yep. So my last oversized stuff, I didn't realize how popular oversized was, because I usually wear fitted things. I'm really into the oversized stuff now. They sold out. Like the large sold out in one day. because we have a database. So the database just bought it up. So it moved too quick. So now the new stuff, we've increased the orders.
Yeah.
And I've changed the design now to be a little bit baggier. And it's a cut off, like it falls off the shoulders a little bit wider.
Yep, and a little bit longer.
And a little bit longer too. So I've redesigned it again. Yeah. And they should be here in April as well. Awesome. Yeah, really good stuff. So guys, yeah, oversized stuff, you want to get a pump in. And I'm bringing back the oversized jumpers.
I love it.
Which is cool.
Love it. I'm excited.
So yes, they're coming. Oversized coming back. You'll be happy with that.
And do you use graphic designers for mock-ups or do you do it yourself?
I use graphic designers. We got, you know some of them too.
Yeah.
There's 1, 2, 3. There's probably 4 that I use. So I will hand draw the concept or do it on my phone. I'll send it to them or explain it to them. And then they mock it up. I'll send it to my manufacturer. Then they'll mock it up again. They'll send it back to me. If I like the colors, it's a bit of a process. Yeah. But you know what?
I couldn't believe it. I did a simple little shirt, right?
Yeah.
For the muscle workshops.
It's complicated, yeah.
The amount of back and forth I went, and then to the guys that were doing the printing, I was blown away because I gave my wife a hard time, and I said, because she gave me the contact for the printers, and I'm like, should I tell them that I'm working with you because she's such a perfectionist.
Understand.
But then I ended up being more of a pain in the ass.
Showing me.
Was being
you were distracted throughout.
Full on ball buster.
Your workout. You were on your phone the whole time. Like it's
trying to get it right. It's not easy when it's coming when it's yours and it's coming from you and it's representing you. Ooh, that's a lot of pressure.
But do you know what I like? I like that this is so hard that I know most people won't be able to do it.
I was like, I don't want to be doing this. It's hard.
What I'm doing now is it's very difficult.
Yeah, and making the decision, like, because at the end of the day, it rides on you. Like, you can ask people's opinion, right? You can say, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? But at the end of the day, it's your decision. It's your brand.
Even creating a whole brand itself, that's a big thing, right? Like, I know that this is difficult. Some days I'm like, fuck, this is a lot of work I'm doing. But I know that it's so hard that a lot of people won't be able to do it. So it elevates me quickly too. So I know that I'm really kicking goals. That's what I like about it, that it is so difficult.
And Johnny doesn't show me a lot of this stuff, what he's working on. And every once in a while he'll show me and I'm blown away. I'm like,
oh yeah, because you don't really ask.
Well, you show me anything, man. I'm very impressed. Very impressed.
Oh, that's nice. I didn't really think
I love
you
it.
To train.
Well, because here's the thing, like, I know I'll have a chance to possibly get some of this stuff myself. And I'm happy to pay for it also because I think you should.
I never make you pay for it.
I know. I do, though. I do.
He buys it. I'm like,
I buy it anyway because you should support your friends. If you're going to go buy Nike anyway, right? Why spend money with them?
That's true.
Of something that your friend has a superior product. Like, I bought these hats. Like he was like, I would have given him. I said, no, man, I want to support my friend because I needed a new hat. I was going to go to Nike and get one, but I like this better, and I'm supporting my friend. Fucking love it. Yeah. He's got two. He's got the
wash black and the black.
This is the stiff one. Black. And he's got one that's kind of washed and quickly. I like this one.
But going back on that too, I'm really big on the customer service because I've been in the service-based industry for so long. You know what's amazing? That day we did the boot camp for your training. Remember when so someone purchased clothes from me the night before?
Yes.
And he was in Mentone.
Yes.
You delivered the order to his house, right? And
it's on my way home.
He hadn't paid for it either.
Yeah.
So, because on Shopify you can do a pay later option, and I just trust people. So everyone's always paid because I even people message me and go, I'm a bit tight on cash because I don't like I probably should be a better business person, but I don't do Afterpay. Because Afterpay can ruin life. So I said, if you're really struggling for cash and you're young, I'll do you like a 90-day payment plan, and Shopify will remind me. And if you don't pay me, it's on you anyway. Like, people have always paid me, bro, every single time. I've given out clothes for free on pretty much tick for months.
Wow.
They've paid me back, and sometimes they give me more. So that guy that you delivered the shirts to, do you know what he did? I was checking the account. He goes, it's been paid, right? I'm like, the exact amount's not there. I'm checking it. I checked the name. He sent me an extra $50.
Unbelievable.
He goes, I'll bring it up.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I swear to God, I'll bring it up. He goes, for extra customer service.
I do believe in that. You under promise, over deliver. Don't say you're going to do something. Do it and then some.
Bro, I was freaked out. But customer service is everything. Keep going, bro.
Last question.
Yep.
Is there anything you would do differently if you had to start again?
I wouldn't great. I wouldn't do anything differently because I learn a lot. I learn so many lessons now, and it's made me very wise.
It's never a failure. It's an opportunity to learn.
I would consider myself extremely successful. I really do. I think I'm a very successful person. But I'm only where I'm at because I've fucked up so many times. I've made that many mistakes that I've learned. And
if somebody could put you in the position you are in right now without the knowledge that you're in right now, you wouldn't have the ability to go so far ahead. But with the knowledge you've acquired from all the fuck-ups, you are in a position to go 10 times further, 100 times further.
You need to fail and fail fast. Like it's tough but something goes bad, it's actually a good thing. Like, this is embarrassing, right? I got a parking ticket the other day. I never get parking tickets, but I had it open for inspection. A buyer came early. I wanted to show him in. I was being nice. I knew I had to get a parking ticket. I walked in, showed him the house, came out, parking ticket. I said to the parking inspector, hey, come on. I said, you know what? I'll never make that mistake again. $90, but I'll never do it again. I was pissed off for about 30 seconds, but I learned a lesson. So every time you fuck up, it's good. Like, don't intentionally fuck up and try and mitigate risk, but you will get better if you make a lot of mistakes. Trust me. Yeah. But if you were to start any type of business now, these are my top 10. I'll give you 5 tips if you've got to start your own business. So number 1, go speak to a few people and get maybe opinions of 10 people. Tell them your concept, people you trust, and get honest advice. And then write all the pros and the cons from each person. So number 2 is, can you bank it? Because this shit costs money. You know, like when I buy stock, like my next batch of stock's going to cost me 25 grand. Do you have the money to buy that shit, and will it sell? That's why I'm still full-time real estate, and I've got other help, because half the time I'm putting stuff on the business credit card. And think smart too, because I get frequent flyer points on that. So every time I buy stock, that's why I do these holidays, because I just put it on the business. So can you bank it? Because sometimes you can't go all in on a business if you don't have money elsewhere. Unless you're living at home with mummy and dad and they give you some money. You got rent, you got bills. It costs money to do this shit. So most people, it's hard to start a business. So can you bank it? Number 3 would be, do you really believe really in your heart believe it's going to work 100%? Like, and if you do, you got to kind of have to really back yourself with it and put yourself out there. Talk about your product. Because right now on social media, if you talk about it, like us doing this shit right now, most people won't do what we're doing right now. Just talking about it. They're too scared.
Yeah.
Talking about it and not giving a fuck what other people think. Because if you give a fuck what other people think, you're a slave to that thought of what they think. And that consumes you. So now I don't give a fuck what anyone thinks. I just fucking do it. I'm just doing it. I do it. Who cares what this guy thinks? They're not thinking about you half the time. No. Just keep doing it and keep pushing. And number 5, I can give you one more tip. It would be energy balance. I think that's really important. Because I'm training with Scott, training hard. Got to do the meal prep, got to do the content, got to manage everything. You have to make some freaking sacrifices to be successful. So so probably 5 would be sacrifice. So parties, don't do them. Don't go out. I don't really have a lot of friends at the moment. Like, I've got friends, but I just have acquaintances.
Netflix, what's that?
No Netflix. Yeah. It's long hours, hard days, but it does pay off. It's taken me 10 years. And now we're kind of doing okay, but you have to sacrifice if you want to. Or you can just be 9 to 5 in the matrix, and that's completely fine.
Yeah, if you enjoy yourself.
Yeah, that's cool too. Yeah. But if you want to really get out there and do something, they're probably the 5 things. Yeah. All done?
Love it.
Thank you, Scotty, for your
help.
Thank you. Justin, Christian, come to Central House to do your next podcast. Hope the quality of the content.
The space is great. It's got a good feel.
Yeah,
felt much comfortable just having a conversation with Johnny in here. So
it's a really nice feel. The whole time underneath. Yeah. That was nice. As well.
Yeah, thanks. Love it.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. We'll see you on session 10 soon, and enjoy the rest of your week. Thank you very much.